everybody. Welcome to Busy Living Sober. Busy Living Sober. Busy Living Sober. It is episode 444. Is that good luck? I don't know. All those fours, isn't it crazy? So today I'm going to talk about spring. It's in the air. I'm wearing all white today because let's face it, I love white, and it's now officially spring. Here in Florida, it feels like summer. It's like 85 degrees. My car said 93 the other day. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a hot one. But that's one of the gifts you have for living in Florida. Thank God I like the heat better than I like the cold. So, did everybody have a great Mother's Day? I hope so. I sent out a newsletter on Friday and I got a lot of responses, and I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I wasn't really sad. A lot of people were like, keep your head up, don't be sad. I'm like, I'm not sad. It was just some things that came to me that day and realizations about kind of what the day means to so many people and what the day meant to me. And let's just face it was a day. It was Sunday, May 12th. I had a great day though. Went to church, went to brunch, played some golf, hung out with some friends. Life is good. I feel really grateful for it. It was so great. And I hope you guys had a great one too. And so I was talking yesterday to two of my people that helped me come up with ideas of what I'm going to talk about. And both of these people out of nowhere, they didn't talk to each other or anything. Were like, talk about spring, graduation, all the, everything that goes on this time of year. And this thought came to me, which is that spring is a time of change, right? It's a time whenever plants are starting to come up, leaves are budding from trees, flowers are popping up. Everything's new, everything's vibrant. All these people are finishing their schooling, and it's like, wow, it's something new. Either you're graduating, let's see, kindergarten, you're graduating from middle school, you're graduating from high school, you're graduating from college, you're getting your master's, whatever it is. It's like a time of change, right? It's so exciting and so daunting all at the same time. And I can tell you this, when I was getting sober, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to do this. And I know that feeling of graduating, because I, of course, graduated from kindergarten, junior high, high school, and college. And I have to tell you that same feeling has always been there of like, oh my gosh, now what? I did what I was supposed to do. I dotted the I's, I crossed the T's. Now what? And when I was getting sober, I had so much fear, and I think we all fear when we go to graduation. I think we all have fear of being around other people. I think we all have this fear of what is it going to be like? How am I going to be? Am I okay? Am I okay? Is everything okay in my world? And the reality is, yes. I think back to that time when I did get sober in August of 2006, and I can still remember it. I can still remember being like, this is going to be it. This is going to be a change in my life. It's going to be scary as anything. I'm going to be boring. I'm not going to have any friends. Life's going to be totally looking different. And my life was kind of going to be over. And I know we all have that fear with graduation. It's like we've been going to school for so long, so many years, and then we get there and we graduate and we're like, now what? Okay, maybe I'm going to go have a job. Do I really want this job? I don't know. Is it really what I want to be doing? I know I've been studying for this for so long. Am I going to really get into this field? And we all have those feelings. And then as the parents of people that are graduating, we want to support them. We want them to know, we want them to get a job, of course, and get off the payroll, which would be huge. But the other thing is that we want everybody to know that we all have been there and felt that. Another thing that I felt, I think back to is walking into that first 12-step meeting. I was like, oh my gosh, who's going to see me? What are they going to think? Are they going to judge me? Are they going to think that there's something wrong with me? Are they going to, excuse Lily, please, because somebody's here cleaning the pool. So that Lily's working. Excuse her, please, 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 please. She won't be doing that for very long. But anyway, I remember walking into that first meeting going, who's going to see me? What are they going to think? Oh my gosh. And then I had this crazy epiphany that, oh my gosh, everybody that's in this room has had that same feeling. Who's going to see me? What is this going to be like? If it's my life over? Or Is my life just beginning? Is my life right now on a new trajectory? I finished one thing, a door closed, my drinking life closed, just like our education at that time closes. We're going on to a new thing, and it's going to be different. I find that if you're getting sober out of your own choice, instead of doing it for somebody else, your loved ones, if you do it for you, you get way better results, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because you want it, you're going to do anything in your power to do well at it. It's kind of like when you go to get your master's, which I have never gotten, but I can imagine you want to just every time you're going to get this master's because you love what you're doing and you want to get better at it. When you go to college, you're going to college because you want to learn something more so you can go and get a better job and you get more knowledge in whatever subject that is that you want to excel in. Sobriety is kind of the same thing. You're like, I've been drinking for this long. I know that I haven't been getting the results that I want. My life is falling apart. It's nothing that I expected it to look like. I've become too reliant on this alcohol. I have one. I have 47. I don't remember what I say. I don't remember what I did. I feel terrible the next day. And I question what I'm doing. And what is my relationship with alcohol? What is it? Why does it have such a hold on me? And it is a spirit, they used to call it, and they still do in certain states, a spirit store, because alcohol is a spirit and it changes us. And for me, I remember when I started drinking at 13, so I always, used alcohol to be it was like my lubricant for life. It was like, okay, I can do life now. Now that I'm kind of buzzed, I'm not 100% here, everything's okay. And I feel like that's what I was chasing, that sense of feeling like I was okay. I was okay. Are we all okay? If we think about where we are right at this moment, wherever you are, you're listening to this or watching it on YouTube or watching on my website or wherever you're watching it somewhere in the world, and you're sitting there right now and you're thinking, okay, wait a minute, right now, in this very second, everything's okay. Everything's okay. We go to fear though. It isn't okay. And some of us have this thinking that it's like we go to this negative thinking, and we put spins on things and we look at things instead of in a way that's like, oh my gosh, I get to. We put that I have to. And why is have bring such a feeling of like, ugh, like just bitterness. It's like, I have to do this. I have to go to school. I have to go to the graduation. I have to go to this party. I have to go show up at this family event. I have to go to a meeting. I have to do these things. And if we just change that one word from have to get, I get to go to this graduation. I get to go be with my family. I get to go to a meeting. I get to change. Not I have to change in a negative connotation. I get to change. I get to use this time in my life to change what I've been doing. I don't like what things I've been doing in my life. So I have the ability to change that. We all have the ability to change these things. We think that it's going to be so hard. I mean, so many times I've thought that all the ways that I've looked at life, all the ways that I have, looked at the future, it's like kind of very daunting, isn't it? And I'm like, I have to do this. I have to keep getting sober. I have to keep working on myself. I have to keep talking about myself. I have to keep getting better. I remember calling my sponsor, the person who was helping me through when I've been getting sober, and I still have when I talked to her today, actually. And I remember thinking to myself and saying to her, do I have to keep talking about myself? I'm so bored of myself and my problems. I can identify them, but can't we fix them and go to the next thing now? And for better or for worse, it's always been a little bit of I take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, maybe 2 steps back, and then I go forward again. And I feel like that's how life is, right? And we think that it's going to be instantaneous gratification. It's like you get on a plane on the East Coast and you end up in California in 5 hours, and you're like, or 4 hours, wherever you're living, and you get on this big silver tin thing and go across the United States or across you go east and you go to Europe and you get on this plane and you go and it's over in 2 seconds and you think it's going to be so daunting, it's so scary and our head again takes us to these places that are so ugly and so not productive. And they take us away from the present. They take us away from the gifts. They take us away from the ability of to be able to see that, oh my gosh, life is so good. And I get to do this. I get to sit on a plane for 8 hours. And when I get there, I'll be in Italy. Or in 5 hours, I'll be in California. Or 2 hours, I'll be in Philadelphia if I go home and visit my friends. It's all about having the ability to look at things and go, I get to do this. And it's so interesting. I have a new friend, Mary. I can't wait to meet her. I hope one day in real life. But anyway, we've been talking almost every day. And well, we have been talking every day via email. And she's newly sober and she has, I think, 8 days or 9 days today or 10 days actually today. And she is talking about how great she feels. I mean, I can just see in the way she's writing these emails to me that it's just like it's coming out of her on paper. Well, it's not really on paper, it's on my computer screen, but I can hear her talking about like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I waited this long. I felt the same way. I still feel the same way. I'm like, why did it take for me to get to 37 to get sober? But it took what it took. That's the reality. It took what it took. And sitting there and going inside of myself, why couldn't it have been sooner? Why did it take so long? What it just did. Acceptance. Acceptance is the answer to all my problems. I accept that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Being raised Catholic the way I was, for so long, I, wanted to push away from it and I want to push, and it took me 55. Here I am 55 to get to where I am. And of course, I beat myself up like, why did I leave? What, all this crazy stuff in my head. And I realize now I had to take the path I had to take. And I feel like they talk about like, especially when I was getting sober, and this was in the 12-step room, which is Christian, God-based. They talk about you are exactly where you're supposed to be. So everything that I've gone through has happened the exact way it's supposed to. Was it always fun? No. Did I have great outcomes all the time? No. Did I make great decisions all the time? No, I did not. But I learned from them. If everything in our life was absolutely perfect, if everything we ate made us happy, if everything we tasted was delicious, we wouldn't know any different. We'd be like, oh, that just tastes, I like it. It's good. We wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, this is delicious. I've never tried this before. Or I've never tried to change what I've been doing. And now I'm changing and the results are so amazing. But we look at it in such a negative way in the beginning, don't we? Here we are in the spring. New things are happening all around us. We're watching people grow all around us. We're growing. Whoever you are out there listening, you're listening to this because you probably want to grow in some aspect of your life or you want to feel good about where you are. And I want to say, I'm applauding you. If you are on day 1, if you're on day 10, if you're on day 10 years, if you're on 30 years, if you're on 40 years and you're listening to this, it's just knowing in your heart that you are on the right path. You are where you're supposed to be. You get to enjoy where you are today. You get to see what's outside. I remember when I was, again, first getting sober, and I feel like I missed so much. Like, even in my yard, let's just say outside your window, you miss so much. You're like, I never noticed that before. I never noticed that bush. I never noticed that flower. I never noticed that bird. Wow, we have those birds here. I never noticed that I go the same way to work every day for the past 20 years, and I'm really sick of it. So instead of going right, I'm going to go left. I'm going to see new things. I'm awake. I'm alive. It's just like the spring. We're all awake and alive, and we're all coming together right now. And I feel like I don't want to watch the news anymore, which I don't, because every time I watch it, it's so negative. It brings me down. And what does it give you? What's the emotion? Fear. Fear. So much as everybody's like, I watch the morning shows. I'm like, I could not watch those morning shows if you paid me $1 million. I just don't think I could watch them. I don't want, I start my day, you know, I think everybody needs to start their day a certain way, whatever that is for you. What is that way? What time is that for you? What does that look like for you? What are your little things that you do every morning that make sure that you're gonna have a better day than not? What are those things? What are your tools in your toolbox that you use every day? Because you know that if you don't do those tools, you're gonna go and you're gonna start your day and you're gonna be like, I missed something. It's not a good day. I'm having a bad day. Why am I having a bad day? Did I do the stuff I like to do in the morning? Now we all get up in the morning and we brush our teeth and we take a shower and we bathe and we get dressed in whatever we get dressed in. And what else do we do? Do you write a gratitude list? Do you pray? Do you talk to God? Do you talk to the Blessed Mother? Do you talk to somebody besides yourself? Somebody that you can't really see or touch? Maybe it's a relative that's no longer here. Who is it in your life that you talk to every morning and say, help me? And the other thing, I do that every day. And ever since going to Medjugorje, if you had told me I was going to be saying, if you told me 2 months ago that I'd be sitting here in my house every morning saying a rosary, I'd be like, no way, you're insane. You're crazy. I am not a Bible beater. I am not into this stuff. You've got to be nuts. Now I do it religiously. I can't imagine not doing it. And not only that, my husband, who's never been Catholic, I think he just has been to Catholic churches with me recently. I don't think he'd ever been before. Does a rosary every day. I heard when I was in Medjugorje, we all know that there's a darkness all over the world. And we all know that there's a lot of scary stuff going on. And we all know that we're in a different place than we were 5 years ago. We all know that we go to the gas pump and we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. We go to the grocery store, our bill is like, oh my gosh, how is it this expensive? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to am I ever going to be able to go on a vacation again? This is all so overwhelming. All I need to do is work, 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 and get money, money, money. Money's never going to make you happy, by the way. It's going to make you comfortable, but it's not going to make you happy. And I was in one of those states of like worry, 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 worry about whatever financial situation is going on in my life. And all this worry was taking over my life. And I was spinning, spinning. And fear was coming up, and fear was coming up, and fear was the answer, right? Fear was what I was worried about, was like, oh my gosh, what is it going to be like in the future? Instead of getting into where I am today in the moments. It is said in the Bible that, fear takes away so much joy. I never knew that. Fear takes away joy. Fear is not a happy builder. Fear is not a thing that makes us go, fear, I can get out there and do whatever I want to do. No, we look at it like, oh my gosh, fear makes us not even want to get out of bed. We stay in bed and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to do this. I'm so scared to do that. What is the outcome going to be? And what about instead of having that fear, we go, I'm going to trust that everything's going to be okay. I'm going to fake it till I make it. I might not authentically believe that everything is going to be okay, but I'm going to fake that everything's going to be okay. When we were little, we pretended, at least I did. When we were young, when we were little kids, we would play, right? For me, I'm just going to use a baby doll, for example. So I had baby dolls and I was pretended to be, a mom. I pretended to be a teacher. I pretended to be a singer. I pretended to be an actress. I pretended to be all these things, right? And it was so fun. And I didn't have all these fears as grown-ups do, right? But today, I can do those things. I can still pretend. I can still fake it and be like, everything's okay. Everything's okay. And every time my head, and again, because I'm sober and because I'm working a program in my life, I am able to identify what that feeling is before it takes over. It takes time. But if you know who you are, if you get quiet, if you're able to just breathe and identify the feelings, that's the biggest part, is identifying the feelings instead of running with them, instead of running with the fear stuff. That's why the gratitude list is so important, because it brings happiness right away. Because you're like, oh my gosh, it makes you smile. You're like, I'm grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful for me. I'm always grateful that I didn't pick up a drink last night. Um, I'm always grateful for my husband, even though sometimes, let's be honest, he drives me crazy, but I'm still grateful for him. I'm grateful for my dogs. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my life, and I'm grateful for the sun shining. I'm grateful that I can see. I'm grateful that I can walk. I'm grateful that I can talk. I'm grateful that I can help others. I'm grateful that I am willing to do this podcast, and I'm willing to put myself out there. It's not always easy. It's not always easy to come here and tell you guys exactly what's going on in my heart and in my life. But I feel as though if I stopped, there would be a void. I'd be like, how am I going to help people then? I guess I would get out in my community and do it that way, which I already am starting to do anyway. But, you know, it, life is such a gift and it's so short. And we think we're going to be here forever. Like this is going to be forever and ever and ever. And, it's not. We have no idea when it's time for us to go. Again, in the Bible, they say go home, to heaven. And I hope we all are going to go to heaven. Ideally, maybe I'm crazy to think that, but I do hope that happens. And I think that if we are on a path of searching and wanting to change and wanting to be better, to do better, life is just so much richer. It's not as negative as it was, right? It's just not as negative. I know, I remember waking up going, what did I do? Who did I hurt? What did I say? Why did I do that? Why did I drink those many bottles of wine? Why did I drink so many glasses of wine? Why did I have that other thing? Why did I do this? And it takes over our lives and it takes over everything. And it becomes, and I didn't realize this again until I was sober, was that, it's a thief. Alcohol is a thief. It takes away your time. It takes away your memory. It takes away your ability to really, truly be your authentic self. It takes the ability, your ability to shine, to let that light come through that's inside of us. If we're in alcohol, drinking, we're not really there. I mean, I had, when I was away, I was able to see some people that were were drinking a lot. And that look that they have, I mean, their eyes are not white like my eyes are now. Like their white eyes are yellow a little bit. And that brightness isn't there. That brightness that like our soul is not there anymore. It's like it's been wiped clear. It's like darkness has come over. It's like this whole veil comes down and we're not shining and sparkly. For those that know me really well, know that I love sparkle, know that I love brightness, know that I love color, know that I love shiny, know that all those things make me so happy. Sparkle makes me happy. And my sparkle was gone. My sparkle was gone for so long. Fear of the future, regret of the past, shame, remorse, sadness, bitterness, all of those feelings had taken over my life. And I wasn't being who God wanted me to be. I wasn't living in the sunlight of the spirit. I was living, but I wasn't living. Do you relate to that? Like I was showing up, but I was like showing up at this as my best me? No, my best me was back in that bottle over there, or that glass of wine over there, or that shot of tequila, or whatever it was. That's where I was. That's where I gave all my brightness to. I gave all my light to. It's kind of like I was living in winter, right? When you've been places and it's like cold and dark and gray, snow's covering everything. It's beautiful in a way, but it's dark. It's not sunny and bright like it is today in the spring where everything's budding. Birds are happy, bunnies are hopping, deer is running the fields. It's it's such a magical time of year right now, the spring. it brings us so many gifts that are like so free, right? We don't have to pay for them. We don't have to pay to look outside and say, wow, look at that. To take notice to things that maybe we didn't notice for a long time. To be able to go and dig in the dirt. This past weekend, I think I probably planted 200 impatiens, and I got to do that. I did get a blister on my hand, but I got to do that. I got to play in the dirt. I got to make my garden look pretty. It was a gift. The impatiens were $1, by the way, at Lowe's. I guess I throw that in there. You know, I really, really didn't realize till I realized that life is absolutely beautiful. This world is so beautiful. Earth is so beautiful. Human beings are beautiful. I missed that for a long time. I was living in just a state of like none of it was pretty. None of it was fun. I mean, maybe sometimes were fun. I'm just not gonna lie. I did have some fun times. But when it wasn't fun anymore, it wasn't fun anymore. And it was time to change. And I want you to know, if you're listening, is that we are in a time of rebirth of everything, especially here in America. I think in Australia it's getting cold, but here in America it's a time for spring. It's a time for change. Don't be scared of it. Embrace it. Embrace who you are and know that you can change. You will change. You get to do these things. You get to look at things with a new set of glasses. They used to say, you're going to put on a pair of rose-colored glasses. And I'd be like, I don't have any rose-colored glasses. I mean, now I might, but then I didn't. And you're on a pink cloud. They used to tell me all the time, you're on a pink cloud. I can tell you, with almost 18 years of continuous sobriety, I'm still on a pink cloud, because I still wake up every day going, thank you, thank you, thank you, God, thank you, Blessed Mother, thank you, universe, thank you, everybody, thank you for everyone that's been with me along my path, thank you for all of my friends that have cheered me on, thank you for my family, thank you for my children, thank you for holding me in this place. Thank you for giving me sobriety. Thank you for giving me my sparkle back. Thank you for giving me this voice. Thank you for giving me these eyes to see how great everything really is. And I'm not going to let those naysayers out there win. I'm not going to let the negativity win. I'm not going to let any of it take me over. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to keep moving forward. And I get to have this life. And I get to walk through the hard times. I get to do all of these things because all of it makes an amazing package. I used to say all the time, I don't know if I've said it in a while, but maybe I have, maybe I haven't, who knows? Because let's face it, I don't remember last week, but I'm just trying to kid you here. But I used to say, and I still do, I want to slide into those golden gates in heaven and say, what an amazing ride that was. I learned so much. I got to help other people. I got to be there for my family. I got to be there for my friends. I get to be there for my neighbors. I get to be there and have this life that is sparkly. It's sometimes not pretty, but I make it work. And I want you to know that you are not alone. If you're out there and you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, my life is so overwhelming. It's too much. It's too much. No, that's the lie. It's not too much. You can do this. You got this. You can do it just for 20 while you're awake. You just can do it for while you're awake. Reach out. You don't have to be a stranger. I promise you I will write you back. My email is Elizabeth, ELIZABETH at elizabethchance.com, CHANCE. Go to my website, busylivingsober.com, BUSY living, LIVING, sober, SOBER.com. You can sign up for a newsletter. It will go right into your inbox. All of my new stuff will go right into your inbox. You won't even have to look for anything. Subscribe to me on YouTube, on iTunes, on Spotify. And know this, you too can sparkle. You think, no, I can't get there. I'm in this place. That's a lie. And it's not going to take very long to get your sparkle back. I can tell you from my friend Mary, she's like sparkling. I know it. I've never met her in real life, but I can tell you she's sparkling from the emails I'm getting. I'm like, she's a sparkle. So exciting. I will cheer you on from afar. But if you want me to be in your inbox, send me an email and subscribe to my stuff. And know this, you are not alone. It's spring. Enjoy everything. Don't look at it like you have to. You got to change that have to get. And your life will be beyond your wildest dreams. And I thought for a long time that was not true, but it is so true. It is so true. Don't listen to the lie. Don't listen to the naysayers. Listen to your heart. You got this. I promise. And until next Monday, I'll be back on Friday with a newsletter. Sign up for my newsletter. I'll come right into your inbox. But until next Monday, I won't be on here again. I have a guest coming on Monday, and then I'll be back next Wednesday solo. If you have any topics or ideas you want me to talk about, write to me. Let me know if you have any topics you want me to cover. If you have anything you've been thinking about, you're like, I wish you would talk about this. I wish you would talk about that. Whatever those are, send it to me. If you want me to mention your name, say that too, and I'll mention your name. If you don't want me to mention your name, say that as well, and I won't mention your name. I can just tell you this. I love you. I am rooting you on. I know you can do this. You can do this life one day at a time. I promise you. I promise you. Until next time, everybody, keep getting busy, living sober. Take care, everybody.